not going to speed it up. I'm just going to show you what I do typically about 3-4 times a week on the floor. It's not a 5-minute thing, so get your fucking popcorn and you might as well relax, enjoy the fucking movie. It's going to take a few minutes. Stretching out the hips. Extremely important. Hip flexor contracture is a huge fucking problem. Also, weak triceps. Big fucking problem. Transfers. You need strong triceps. These, well, I've already done about 1 million videos on these. They're still challenging, but we're working on it. Doesn't seem like a very, very big movement, and it's not. A lot of times, you don't need a huge movement to make a huge impact. I've been doing this now. Well, it's not this routine, but I've been on this floor now. I used to be on every day, 5 to 6 days a week, but hour and a half, 2 hours, at least an hour. To stretch the hips out, do some strengthening, to just get some movement. I used to use the Hoyer lift, incorporating that, which is one of the first videos I did called Core from the Floor. I'll leave the description below if you decide to watch this entire thing, which is, we're going to be here for a while. But I've already talked about 1 million different other things. I'll leave a ton of different descriptions below. Links below in the description box on some of the training that I've done on the floor over the years. Even with the little dip bars and shit like that, or I don't know what the fuck I call them, but all of this. Extremely important. Once again, try to make it so you can see a little bit better what's really going on here. I can see the legs spasm straightening out like that. They don't want to go straight. The hip flexors do not want to go straight. Fucking iliopsoas piece of shit. Because my hips are all out of, what do you want to call them, out of alignment. Use an extra pad. Put it underneath my ass. Raise up a little bit of width. Bring my foot straight up. Grabbing onto this ankle. Pushing down here. Leaning in. Trying to get a little stretch in the hamstrings. Now, I know this isn't the proper technique. I can feel it, and I can't get on my back and get my foot raised over my head the way it's supposed to be done properly. My knee buckles, it's just not working at this time. We're working on that though. Been sitting all day. Your hamstrings, your quadriceps, your tibialis anteriors, your TAs, your shin muscles, and your calves all start becoming contracted. Not good. But whenever you can stretch them, I mean, geez, if you can reach down and grab your toes, that's good. That's a pain in the ass. We got something else for that though. Give yourself a couple seconds stretch on each side. Go through it a couple times. You want to do it once, do it once. That's better than none. Oh yeah. This is where it all happens. Right here. Floor training. Everything else is good. Everything else is predominantly upper body, other than the standing frame, which once again the machine does most all the work, most of the work. But you still have back extensors you got to use. But this, where I am right now, I can't fall. I mean, I can fall over, but I can't fall off, which makes it a little bit safer. You can see these things, they don't want to go this way. I mean, got a lot to do with the paralysis. It's also got a lot to do with the contracture. Once those muscles get tightened up, from your gluteals to your hip flexors, which is your iliopsoas, your obliques, to all the quadricep muscles coming down. Like I said, the shins, the calves, the hamstrings, you're sitting 90-90 quite a bit. You don't get an opportunity to really stretch that out much during the day. I mean, you could do whatever those pressure releases are, or you're leaning back in your chair and shit like that. It's got nothing to do with the muscles. That's just pressure relief for your sciatic and your coccyx bone, because that is the #1 problem, where the ass bone hits on the floor bones and the seat bones fucking 99 hours a day and wears a hole right through your ass cheeks, bones, flesh, stuff. Now, let's get back to this. I don't go through once
I don't do one thing just once and be done. Like I said, if you're gonna do it once, I mean that's better than none. But make a routine out of it. Make it a fucking lifestyle. Even just hanging here. Doesn't seem like much, does it? None of this seems like much. But believe me when I say, everything counts in large amounts. I know it looks like my hands work really good. They don't work bad. But believe me when I say, it's only because I figured out where to put them, how to put them, and what I'm doing with them. You know, not a lot going on. I know there's others that have bigger problems than I do. But I used to have bigger problems than I do. This little round bolster right here doesn't seem like much. However, you have to balance on it. And watch the legs. Right. Ah, yeah, see? Spazzing like animals. And eventually, slowly, they release. And she shows you they don't want to go that way. You have to make them go that way. And once again, it doesn't look like much that I'm doing here. Only because I've been doing this for fucking, this thing right here, is just at least 6 years that I've been working with this little baluster. A little foam roll. And these dumbbells. I had done a video called tape training a while back where I did this. There'll be a link below. Doesn't seem like much. Stretch out that chest. Very important. Especially if you're pushing a chair. Nice and wide. When you do this, bring your shoulder blades together. Flex those rhomboids. You'll feel the stretch. The other thing that's almost counterintuitive is we're now doing flies. But the flies are for working the pectorals. But also you'll notice this little bit of movement that I have going on here. You're balancing and you're strengthening your trunk. Now trust me, this wasn't always quite as easy as it appears. Notice position of the head. Stretching out the sternocleidomastoids. Working on that posture. Sort of that slumped over position. Simple again. Little presses. These are equally as valuable to pectoral strength as they are to the core strength. We mix it up here a little bit, we give them a little twist. Working on range of motion. We go the other way. More range of motion and more balance. Trunk strengthening. More tricep strengthening. These are only 5 pounds, but believe it or not, I started at 2 pounds. I could do more and I have to get bigger. Well, you see the bigger dumbbells are on the bench. But I could do that with these, but they don't have this little strap thing on them. So I almost hit myself in the face a few times. So we'll figure something out with that. And from here, when you turn them, range of motion and balance. Trunk strengthening, balance, stretching, balance, trunk strengthening, balance, range of motion, balance, trunk strengthening, balance. From here, maybe go into a simple curl. A little bit of strengthening, not much. Arm raises, a little bit of strengthening, not much. Core strengthening, a lot much. What does this exercise actually strengthen? I just did a video on it. Going back to rotator cuff strengthening. Not much weight, not much movement. A shitload of impact. Gonna leave one weight there. Roll this out of the way. Use the weight for a counterweight. And roll myself over. These legs straight down again. Whenever you're doing something, always try to keep your legs straight, especially if you're on the floor. Right here, you'll see this is also a good oblique stretch. We'll do that on both sides. Just by virtue of doing what we're doing, that gets done. But I had done a video on this just a little while ago. I'll leave a link below. You know, a rotator cuff. Very important, once again, especially if you are pushing a manual chair. And do one side, gotta do the other. Reverse side oblique fucking stretch. And reverse side rotator cuff strengthening. Constant. Thing about the floor is everything you do on it is constant strengthening. Now you'll notice as time goes, these handles, quad handles, starts to become more difficult. You get on this fucking floor. You start cranking on this shit for a half hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Tell me how fucking happy and fresh little fucking daisy you are by the time this fucking war is over. Put them over here now. I got another thing for them. But before I get back into our next exercise, let's do one more stretch. Doesn't seem like much, considering how much, doesn't seem like much stress for the hip flexors, considering how much time you actually put in a fucking chair. My only thing is, obviously, you have to sleep. And I will say to you this, avoid from sleeping on your side. Avoid from making it so when you sleep, your knees come up. Try to sleep as flat as you can. One of those so I don't hit my head.
Again.
A lot of times I cut all this crap out, but not today. Because I would imagine, if you've ever seen any of the other videos that I do, when I'm on the floor, and I tell you I'm here for 2 hours, it doesn't really seem like I'm there for 2 hours. That's because I cut everything out. All the little movements, all the little movement arounds, getting things situated. Hanging out for these momentary strengthening moves, just holding this, the isometric style, or stretching. All gets cut out, but it's always there. This would be cut out. This would be cut out. This would be cut out. You think one of the things I always try to emphasize is that all of this, everything we do, now I have to use this cushion right here because of the fact that my hips are so out of line, out of alignment. I try to get one side of my hips up. And the other side down. Contract one side and elongate the other in hopes that we can get them to line up. But when I do get on my feet, I'm not, standing there like a cashew or a banana if you prefer. And right here doesn't seem like much. This sick quad stretch, and I'm also stretching the hip flexors. Now, by contracting the hamstrings, you can find everything you do. When you stretch one thing, you're contracting something else, no matter what it is. Right here, contracting my bicep. I'm stretching out my triceps. Right here, the opposite. So, sort of screwed with that one, but all you can do is the best you can do. If you believe that just trying is your best, I guess that's okay. But one thing is you do know, you can lie to your wife, you can lie to your mother, your girlfriend, your brother, your sister, your boyfriend, your husband, your whoever the fuck, and you can tell them that
I really kicked ass, I did this, I did that. But you know what it is you've done and haven't done. And if you get a decent day's training, believe me when I say, you will sleep like a fucking savage. Tonight, I'll sleep like a beast. I get my time in here, my time off the floor. I slept like a fucking animal last night. For some reason, I don't know why, but I went through these routines 3 times yesterday. I had the time. By the time I finally get myself off the floor, whew, thought I was going to fall asleep at 3 o'clock. So I spent the duration of the afternoon measuring things, cleaning stuff up, and drinking beer. What's up with that? Oh yeah, I meant flushing the bladder. See how the knee is off the ground there? Alright, this is where the contracture is. That's why you gotta try to work getting that over there and pulling the other side over. All of it is difficult. A little more hip flexor stretch. It's called this hump in the chair. Try to squeeze those glutes together. Most all your training is trying to get things that don't work, things that don't work. To get them to be things that does work. A lot of this stuff, all cut out. I think I'm going to spare you though. Now, you know what? Fuck that. As long as I'm on the floor, you can be with me. Now this is one of the things I was talking about with these dumbbells. There's no straps on them. Adjust this knee. There's no straps on them. And because my hands don't work so good, I pretty much am just balancing them in my hand. A lot of this stuff looks a little bit more convincing than it actually is. You'll notice it's a balancing trick a lot of times. But that's okay. Because by balancing, you're still strengthening. And believe me, this couple extra pounds makes a big difference. From the exertion and the upright position, I still get blood pressure dips. Go ahead, breathe for a sec. Till it comes back.
be aware of where that is, the end of this. I have slid off of this, right back in that direction, and I guess you can figure out what met my head. Now when you're helping yourself, because you've broken your neck, and you're trying to strengthen yourself so that you do the best job you can with a broken neck, you definitely don't want to break your neck again. Not good. Ooh. Telephone. Wonder who that would be. There's certain things you have to concern yourself with, and certain things you have to not concern yourself with. Right now, this is what we're concerned ourselves with. Oblique and deltoid strengthening, let alone balance. Curls. If it seems like a little more difficult with the right side, it's because the left side oblique is not as strong as the right side oblique. Now with the left side, it doesn't seem like anything. It's nice and tight. All part of the injury. There's I'll put a link in the description box. The name of his channel is Eye to Eye. He's out of the UK. You know, and I don't remember how he broke his neck, but well, he broke it. I think he's 5'6", cervical 5, cervical 6, right about here. And he attributes the fact that he can stand and he's actually walking, he's doing fucking great, don't get me wrong. Do not fucking take this out of context. But he's attributing the fact that he was up and functional within 3 months at rehab because he worked so fucking hard. Go fuck yourself. It was the severity of the injury. The level of the injury has nothing to do with anything. It's the impact on the spinal cord is where the trouble comes in. I fell off a fucking bed. I am a C4, C5, C6 quadriplegic. Biggest problem I ran into was the compression, the swelling of the spinal cord. And I tell you, the more I think about it, if I had any idea what the hell was going on, I would have never gotten a laminectomy. I would have went for traction. By fusing the bones, I think they just basically, this is where you are, deal with it. So that guy had traction. I know more C3s that can get up and walk than 5, 6, 7s, fucking a lot of T's, 1 through whatever, 14 or whatever it is. Severity has nothing to do with level of injury. Remember that. So there's before. We could be both hanging out at the same place, same time, doing the same thing, get hit in the head with the same fucking whatever, fucking crushing, smashing something or other. He received the exact same injury. One guy walks out. One guy never walks again. It's just like rolling the dice. Or in the words of Forrest Gump, Mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you gonna get. Goddamn Forrest Gump logic. Fucking guy. Have you never seen Forrest Gump? Watch it. Hell, even just from a historical point of view, covers a lot of different topics. And if you're looking at all this and you're thinking to yourself, well, looks like a lot of that sucks. A lot of it doesn't suck. It all sucks. It's just all work. Work, 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 work. But there is another option you have. You don't have to do any of this. You can have people wait on you, hand and foot. I'm involved in a system. It's with the state called the Public Partnership Program, or known as the Personal Preference Program. Because when I got injured, I actually heard somebody tell me, a woman who said, oh, it's a big deal, you just sold your business. Yeah, sold my business. Did I? Yeah. Sold something that took me about 20 years to put together. Sold not just a business, but I basically sold my lifestyle. I sold my health. I sold my mental well-being. I sold my baby. You know, I had mentioned this before. I bought a truck for $1,000. I had a rake. And all I had after that was my baby blues and my balls. And I decided I was starting a business. I realized how much money people were making, my bosses and things of that nature. Not that they were bad people, but I was in the business for about 10 years. And I realized I'm doing all the work already. Yeah, even on the ground you do more of these. I'm doing all the work already. Why don't I just fucking work for myself? That's because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. It didn't seem to me to really be the problem. You know, you build it and they will come. First year in business, I had 5 properties I maintained, and I worked 3 days for myself and 3 days for my old boss, the old Sincere boys. Still talk to Joe, but I worked with a whole bunch of guys in that business. A lot of fun. Talk about fucking toxic masculinity or fucking hyper masculinity or whatever you want. Everything was a competition. Everybody, every day, outdid everybody and everything that they'd done the day before. And through the competition, the person that was making the bank because we produced more and more and more and more and more every day, the boss. He encouraged it, and I don't blame him. Because the more we produced, the more revenue we generated. Out of that, my job was to train guys. I trained no less than a half dozen guys that went on to start their own business. But, like I said, it wasn't just a job. It wasn't just selling a business. I sold my life. And if it wasn't for Mary, I wouldn't even have this one. But one thing I learned through starting that business is that I started with nothing. Not that I was making $1 million. Towards the end, I barely think I was making like maybe $5,000 a month in maintenance. But that's not really where you make your money. On side work. And I realized if I just went through the lawn care, I could make, you know, $5 grand, $4 grand, 45, 5, whatever, somewhere around there. Everything fluctuates in business. Some days you make more, some days you make less. But I found out that I could work as much or as little as I wanted. And I realized that if I wanted to take time off, I could take time off. And I noticed when I took time off, I didn't get paid. And it seemed that when I wanted to make more money, I just worked more. You know, when I started, I was going full psycho. You know, doing the 75-hour weeks, you know, 60 in the field, and coming home, flying the desk, making phone calls for a few hours at night. And I was making money. I made about $250,000 a couple years. Then I got separated from my cunt-faced whore fucking bag fucking piece of shit wife. Basically, I always said this, that I married my fucking daughter. Paid for her fucking wedding. Paid for her fucking room and board. Paid for her fucking schooling. Paid for her cars, her gasoline, insurance, and everything. For fucking 4 years, this fucking bro didn't do shit. Did an internship in the beginning. Drove with her back and forth to make sure that she knew where she was going. And she figured that whole thing out. She was good. And then got her a car so she can take care of that. And then found her first job. As soon as she started making money, all of a sudden, she didn't want to be married anymore. Made her own money. And she was upset because I wanted her to pay her fucking way. And she thought learning some responsibility was stupid. And she shouldn't have to do that because everything is working. So why don't we just keep everything going the way it is? It's always funny when people... You ever see this thing? This thing sucks. Now when people find something that's nice and easy and convenient, they want it to stay that way. Well, what was easy for her wasn't so easy for me. Long story short, well, got rid of that fucking whore. Or she got rid of me. I don't know, you make your mind up. Were you there? No, you weren't. Funny because I got a couple of my sisters who are still under the impression. They still talk to this fucking cunt. Pisses me off to no end. Story for another day with that one. However, you know, for 20 years, this is what I did. And it wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a mechanical engineer. But after my wife graduated, she decided that I couldn't go to school. What the hell, what's everything? You're already working, you got a job, you got a fucking, why do you want to go to school? Like, this is not what I want to do. This is what I have to do. So I can do what I want to do. But anyway, the point I'm making is that was what I did. My business was what I did. It gives you identity and everything else. As much as the person that you're with gives you identity. As much as sitting on this fucking squishy thing right here. I'll have to do a video just on this little squishy thing because I did a video on death by ball. I'll put the link below. And the reason I don't do that anymore is because it's this fucking tall. And if I fall off of there, once again, don't want to break my neck again. Anyway. But my business gave me identity, gave me purpose, gave me a lot of different things. So the idea, I just simply sold it. No, I didn't sell it because if I didn't fucking break my neck, I would have sold it. I lost it. I had assets that needed to be fucking taken. We needed the money. Breaking your neck is very expensive. Anyway. But I didn't realize that all that hard work and everything that I had done and the hard work that I'm doing now, it's sort of fucking funny. Everything is fucking work. All that hard work was just training me for this hard work. That's the end of round one for this routine. I'm going to go through this whole thing again. I'll keep the video going, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'm actually going to show you what's going on with the rest, but if I do, I'm going to do. If I don't, get on the fucking floor. This fucking sucks. But this sucks less than being fucking useless in that fucking chair. Stretch yourself, strengthen yourself. You strengthen yourself physically. Nice little oblique stretch right here. You strengthen yourself physically. and you will strengthen yourself mentally. Once you strengthen yourself mentally, there is damn near no obstacle you can't overcome. There's a lot of obstacles I still can't overcome, but not from the lack of fucking working on them. We are doing our best. And that's what we do. Our best. Most of the time. Sometimes you just gotta take that moment and clear your head of everything.